Welcome to the post-mortem for this time for two systems. We'll be talking about both Kosmosaurs and Mausritter that we played. I think everyone had sort of kind of fun with them. And I'll ask a few questions and we'll just try to have a general discussion about what we liked, what we didn't like. And I'll start it off with saying that for me, Kosmosaurs was a little bit too light. That I felt like there wasn't really that much to do when it came to the actual dice rolling and all of that. And in that sense, I also feel that I don't think Kosmosaurs would be a super good game to play for a longer period of time.
I agree. I think it's actually, when we played it, I felt like it was very well suited for like one-shots. And something like you just sit down without any real plan and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with that. That it feels like this type of game when you have your regular, I don't know, D&D night or something, and someone cancels, but everyone has already made plans to come together, and then it just break out Kosmosaurs and be like, okay, we're gonna do this Saturday morning cartoon thing. We're just gonna have fun. We're gonna have drinks. We're gonna do whatever. I think it's best suited for something like that.
I mean, I definitely agree because it's definitely like very fitting for these sort of like extremely wacky and really silly character concepts that you want to make, but you can't really like fit them into like your usual sort of regular campaign.
I feel like Kosmosaurs is the system itself is like completely detached from the theme of it. Because the system is what you have your physical stat and you have your mental stat.
Yeah.
And that's all you have.
Well, you have stats for your ship as well, technically.
Do you?
Well, I mean, you also have advantages.
But we didn't really get to use it.
Okay, I see. But what I meant is that your like abilities and skills, like what you're good at, what you're bad at, is just right in. You put there whatever you want.
Yeah, they are much more narrative in that sense. And as Anna was saying, that you do also have advantages and disadvantages. That it does come from the abilities.
Mm-hmm. And we never really actually got around to using the disadvantages of the fears or bad ats, really.
Yeah, I kind of felt like while DMing that these specific things didn't really come into focus. So it didn't make sense to try and like kneecap you with them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I might misremember because we are doing this after the Mausritter recordings, so
it's been a while.
It's been a while between this and Kosmosaurs, like almost a month, I think.
Yeah.
That I think there was a moment when you were scouting the Slime Lord's like compound, where one of your guys' negatives actually did come into play.
Yeah, it was me with my bad at navigating.
Yeah, bad at navigating, exactly.
Oh.
That did come in once. You did lose a D6 for that.
Okay.
Well, that's the thing with all of these negative traits. If this is something about your character that you, as a player, you sort of think that your character has these traits, it's good at something, bad at something, then whether or not they come into play depends a lot on whether it fits into the DM's vision for the adventure.
Yeah.
And if this was like this one shot you had it pre-made already for us, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, mostly. So it was sort of like if it fits there, then it does, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't come up. So you would have to have like our characters first, and then create an adventure that would incorporate all of these traits.
True. I think in general it's why it might be good to do a post-mortem of both Mausritter and Kosmosaurs together is I feel that both of these systems are very much similar in the sense that they expect one, a lot from the DM, and two, they kind of expect a lot of collaborative storytelling.
Oh yeah.
That as we did in Mausritter as well, I kind of asked you guys like, oh, do you think your character would know this, or do you think would they have ever been here? Would they speak termite? Would they speak bird? I think it was, or crow. And with Kosmosaurs, it's the same way that you are sort of expected to well, it's weird to say force, but almost like force your character traits into the game.
I mean, yeah, it definitely works that way. Sort of advantages and disadvantages alike, in that sense.
Mm-hmm. But how do you feel about this general like system of rolling for Kosmosaurs in this sense, for rolling for d6s and trying to get above a certain number? Like how does this system of rolling dice feel to you?
To be honest, I don't really remember what exactly it was.
So you were rolling.
4 or 5.
Yeah, so you're rolling an amount of d6s depending on your stat and any advantages or disadvantages you have, and then you got a. If you got a 1 or 3, you failed. A 4 or 5, you succeeded at a cost, and the 6 you succeeded perfectly. And if you got 2 6s, you had a critical success.
Which I don't think we ever did.
You did actually.
We did.
For damage, you did several times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now that I remember, I think I actually liked it. I compared it in my head to Blades in the Dark.
It is very
which,
much in that vein.
And I liked it better than Blades in the Dark because Blades in the Dark only allows you to succeed on a 6. Right?
Technically it's the same. You have a success at a cost on 4 or 5. But I think in the problem, well, quote unquote problem with Blaze in the Dark is that the consequences are more palpable, more like discreetly laid out, of like they're more strong consequences maybe. Whereas you getting like, I get a -1d6 to my next defense. It feels like less bad than something in Blaze in the Dark where I'm like, my next roll will have less chance to, or like less of an effect because I failed this one or something like that. It's one of the things that I've been thinking about with Blaze in the Dark, and if we ever get to that in this podcast to play, is that I feel like Blades in the Dark can have a death spiral where if you fail, you keep failing, and so forth. But we will see. But it's interesting to hear because.
I remember when we were playing Blades in the Dark, it felt to me that it's really hard to succeed no matter how many dice you roll, because you're saying that, but from my memory and my feeling then, it felt as if only the 6 is a success. And or maybe it was some other system.
Yeah, you're only chasing the 6 score.
I think
that was Vaesen.
Vaesen.
Maybe
that was also in Vaesen though.
Yeah, I think you might be mixing it up with Vaesen. Vaesen?
Vaesen might actually be Vaesen.
It's
Vaesen,
Swedish,
I
right?
think.
Yeah,
Swedish.
Yeah.
Swedish fish.
Actually, I kind of look forward to getting to Vaesen in our podcast, because I think it will be. It's kind of interesting to, because in many ways, like of course, yes, we're playing just to have fun as a group of friends, but I feel like doing a podcast kind of makes me as a DM think differently about a system, of like. Of how to make it maybe more entertaining. When I'm just DMing to friends, I more think of like, what's a good story? What's like interesting? But I don't think of it like, I don't think of it like a stage play or something. But when we're like trying to do a podcast, it feels like I'm trying to think of like, what would sound good, or what would like be this interesting moment of turn.
Is that how you came up with the caterpillar voice?
Maybe.
Yeah, but I think you're derailing from the point.
That is very true. So for Kosmosaurs, we didn't really get that much into the ship mechanics. I think we had it a little bit in the beginning and maybe a little bit something in the end.
Not particularly.
Oh yeah, because you found the satchel charge, so it didn't explode, and you didn't have to like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was only in the beginning that you had to like roll for those, and we didn't get to the part where there is like possible improvements in the Kosmosaurs system. Where you basically what it means is that you get like extra things that you're good at. You don't really change your stats, and you can also get extra things that you're bad at. But even the book itself tells you to think about it more as you would think of a Saturday morning cartoon, where different episodes or so like different sessions are supposed to be able to be played, or in the case of a TV show, viewed as a separate thing. Like that you don't need any prior knowledge or explanation. So I feel like the book itself or the system itself doesn't really...
Well, you're exactly getting what they're selling.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Or like a very good way of putting it. That... Yeah. But... now, if we move on to Mausritter, which is...
I just want to add one thing.
Yeah.
That, like, since, every session has, like, this episodic vibe to it, it's very easy to include someone else in the game if you wish to, like... Just, like, poof, suddenly they're there, and, like, poof, suddenly they're not anymore.
Yeah.
they were always there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Gronkoid.
Poor
Actually,
Trunkoid, we poor new, yeah.
Do you want to comment on how it is to run the system?
Yes. Well, to me, both Kosmosaurs and the Mausritter were very similar to run in some senses, but in other senses, I think when it comes to systems that are very much narrative or this, they don't have like super hard mechanics behind them. They put a lot of onus on the DM, and I felt this more with Kosmosaurs, that I was very much expected to put situations in front of you and to invent things. Whereas even with Mausritter a little bit more, I at least had something to go off of. Like there was a bit more of a system there, and it's actually very strange to think about that. For many DMs, I feel like they actually people like to have a system where they can just make shit up, which is like it's fun in its own right. But on the other hand, sometimes you really do want and need a framework to play off of, and I don't think Kosmosaurs really gives you that. So if you're a
so Kosmosaurs is more like absolutely anything goes, because it is within the scope of like such a no limits sort of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely is in that sense like. You can make literally everything up in that.
But actually, what are your opinions on the theme of these games? Like, how well do you feel that Kosmosaurs played to this idea of like 1, Saturday morning cartoon, 2, sci-fi, and how do you feel Mausritter played to fantasy and this like sense of like scale and wonder?
Well, from what we played, from the adventure that we had, Saturday morning cartoon, perfect.
Absolutely.
The sci-fi, not so sure, but again, we just didn't get to interact much with the technology and like spaceship and
again,
stuff.
I feel like the system doesn't really interact with it too much. I mean, you could use the exact same rules and put it on a completely different theme.
Mm-hmm.
You could play the Mausritter theme with these exact rules as in Kosmosaurs, because the system doesn't give you any specific skills or abilities, and you can just do anything with them. But I understand that the Sunday morning cartoon and the sci-fi is like the expected theme on that, and I think the adventure delivered it well.
Well, that's all praise to me because
Yes,
I
it is.
wrote it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, jokes aside, I basically stole it from the first episode of the A-Team. I rewrote the first episode of the A-Team to work as an adventure for Kosmosaurs, but
You shouldn't have said that. You'll get sued.
You know what they say, that
I can always cut it out.
good writers borrow, great writers steal.
Yeah. Basically. No, I absolutely like. Well, definitely, it fit the Saturday morning cartoon vibe. It, I would say, it definitely fit the sci-fi sort of niche. Even if we didn't get to explore the sci-fi aspect of it that
I
much.
feel like we sort of did, because
That might have been more of like a player issue where we didn't actually go deeper into it.
no, but I mean we explored this Star Trek like planet with these overlords and depressed underground.
We didn't really explore it. We just went to the place and went out of the place.
Yeah, but
I'm
we could have
saying that the vibe was
actually
there.
we could have done something more with it, on the initiative as the player.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think it's just.
But that's that's just the limitations of the player's imagination at the time.
Yeah.
And
So-
also that it was a one shot, so there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a whole lot of limits there.
So, Anna, what were you saying?
I was agreeing.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
But
Yes.
Mausritter is, I think, much more intertwined with the system and the theme.
Oh yeah.
yes, from behind the screen, it's... Mausritter is one of those systems where... It's like many of the OSR or like old school revival things where they kind of claim to have no bespoke setting, but the actual systems put in place do kind of what's the word? Expect the setting.
Uh-huh.
And in some ways it's good, in some ways it's bad. For example, the birds, you fought the crow. Well, you didn't fight the crow. You negotiated
Bribed
with one. Yeah, you bribed the crow. But it is sort of this expectations that birds are someone who they have this different magic, and it's not actually specified whether it has anything to do with them having actual magic or it's just like they flap their wings really hard.
Yeah.
And so, but for the purposes of running, I personally liked Mausritter a lot more. I don't know how much that came through with like being players.
I think for us players, it definitely came across that you enjoyed it and you like doing the players, like the characters' voices and also describing the setting. It definitely seems like a really actually really sort of fun concept.
You also used the pre-written adventures for that, right?
It's for the first part when you were in the Caterpillar Kingdom, that was more or less exactly what was written.
Uh-huh.
But for the second part, the Termite Kingdom, I was using from the box set of the estate. And there is one of the adventures is called Mush Rush, and this kind of has nothing to do with what we did. But I used it as a vague basis, like the layout and stuff like that. So yes, the first episode or the first part of it depends on how many episodes we will cut it into. But the first part of it was more like what was already written, but the second part was much more like my own creation. That's probably why you see the dip in quality.
Or maybe the bump in quality.
Can you pause, Lishu Pete?
Yeah. Wait, give me a moment. Yeah. So the Mausritter, there was, well, depending on how you say, bump in quality, dip in quality. About what I wrote. That's the thing. I didn't really write anything, and that's also one of the things with both Kosmosaurs and Mausritter and these types of systems in general is that because of the systems themselves, they are not that intricate. you can wing it a lot, which will of course depend on your own like confidence and skill as a DM, which I have plenty of. On the confidence side, maybe too much. But actually, how did you feel? Was there a difference between being level 1 mice and level 2?
Like, we kind of didn't really roll that much this.
We didn't get into combat as level 2.
There was no
but
combat in level 2.
Just looking at my character sheet, let's say 3 HP versus 7 HP is a big difference.
It absolutely is. I had 11 HP as a level 2 mouse, and that would make like a heap of difference.
Yeah, I went from 6 to 7, so
Oh no.
But what about your stats? How much did they improve?
also not that much.
I mean, each stat probably improved only by 1, unless
If you failed,
If you failed, right?
then it improved by. No, if you failed, it improved by some sort of roll. I think about.
It was
No, it was by 1.
It was by 1.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I have the book somewhere, but I don't feel like getting it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
by 1.
Actually, this is another a good point that I actually don't like the system where you have to fail a stat roll to improve it.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like it's way too random. So
So when you're improving.
yeah, when you're improving.
Okay.
Yeah, leveling up in that system is, it was quite easy enough from level 1 to level 2, but from then on, it actually gets really, really difficult. And if you only, you have to fail to get 1 point. That might be
I mean,
a bit too hard.
As an aspiring system designer,
Bit too harsh as a sort of...
it sounds good on paper that the higher your stat, the less likely you are to improve it. But as like in play, it just feels random. It's not like, especially if you have low stats. If you have high stats,
Yeah.
okay, you know that you're probably not going to improve it, and then you might be kind of fine with it. But if you have low stats, then it just feels like a coin flip whether you get to improve it or not. I have the same problem with Cthulhu, actually.
Really?
I do agree with that, actually.
Okay, that's
But
interesting.
with Cthulhu, it does actually feel a whole lot more like sort of... Perhaps it's simply because it's a D100.
I mean, Cthulhu is I think worse even because first you have to
Really?
succeed your shitty stat to even get the chance to improve it, and then you have to fail it to improve it.
Well, that is a different stat. Like some systems that are based off of, it's technically basic role playing system. I think that the Call of Cthulhu is based on, and one of the things that does get better in some other systems is that once you fail your skill roll, you get like a check mark in it, which allows you to try and improve it.
That would be better, yeah.
But I just checked the book that if you roll higher than your stat while leveling up, you increase it by 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I guess
Okay, I guess that's not so bad then. Then you get at least something anyway.
no. If you roll, you have to roll higher than your stat. So you still basically have to fail.
You have to fail to
You have to
improve.
fail
Yeah.
to improve, yes.
Yeah.
And if you succeed, then you don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then my previous point stands.
So I think what it's maybe meant to do is that on longer play, it will kind of even out the characters.
Yeah, I think that's mostly the point.
Well,
It's
that's
an
it.
equalizer.
Yeah. As I said, it looks good on paper, but it feels not good.
It does seem like it's going to be unsatisfying in the long run.
A little bit, yeah. I agree with that. But how do you... Because I feel like we have all played like a not insignificant amount of RPGs, like different systems before. How do you feel about, in general, the like characters, character sheets and all this type of system?
No, I just really like the physical aspect to it.
It was beautifully made, actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
really
is.
like the different tokens and
Yeah.
what was it, little
Yeah, the inventory
cutouts.
management was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe as a little refresher for audio listeners, is that the way that the character sheet is set up is that you have 2 paw slots and 2 body slots in your inventory, and then you have 6 like backpack slots, and any item that you have is sort of like this physical little cardboard cutout that you have to fit on your character sheet to sort of actually have it.
And some items take 2 slots, either vertically or horizontally, and that was actually, I think, a brilliant way to organically put in limitations what weapons and armor you can use at the same time.
Yeah.
Because if basically you can't use a horizontal armor and a vertical weapon at the same time.
That is actually very interesting because many systems these days, I feel, are trying to do away with discrete inventory slots or not even discrete inventory slots, but they're trying to do away with carrying capacity. And that's like, oh, this thing weighs 2 kilos, so you can only carry 3 of these or something like that. And they are more trying to do with you have a certain amount of slots equal to, I don't know, your strength modifier or whatever. And then some items take 2 slots and some take 1. Like Vaesen, for example, does this. That you can have a number of significant items equal to your strength score. But it is a little bit inelegant in that sense, and I think what Simon said puts it very well in focus, that if you have a character sheet, then you have to physically fit your items onto your character. It does give this more. It grounds it more in reality than some sort of abstract, I have 6 nebulous slots for items.
Yeah, well, basically it's the same slot system, except that some items take more than 1 slot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay.
I think that's actually the most unique feature of Mausritter.
I think so too, and I think I don't know if at this point I'm not sure if it made the cut in the episodes themselves, but I did actually mention that I feel like Mausritter would be something that would be kind of easy to introduce to children, because first of all you don't have any modifiers. You just roll your d20 and you have to check if it's under the number, and you have this physical aspect of it that you put the things on the character sheet, and if they're there, they're there.
The theme is also very child.
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
setting.
we made it weird and sultry and.
No. Gronkoid was perfectly child appropriate.
Year of the Sparrow, though.
Year of the Sparrow. Well, actually, it's honestly, have any of you seen the Van Helsing movie?
Yes, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I could think of was the Igor from the Van Helsing movie. That might be a deep cut at this point, but
What's to do?
Yeah. Well, do we have any last thoughts? Anything to add before we wrap up this post-mortem? Actually, for the purposes of anyone listening or wanting to listen in the future, the next thing that we're going to do is going to be Fabulo Ultima. We're going to do... Well, we actually don't know how many episodes will come out of it, but it will be, I think, a mini-campaign.
Hopefully not too long.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but more than a single shot.
Yeah. And this time I will be relinquishing the DM seat. Yeah, it will be fun. We've actually, most of us have played Fabulo Ultima already. And that's, I think, all of us...
Because we couldn't wait.
Yeah, we couldn't wait. So, but I think everyone mostly enjoyed it. I got to be a homicidal maniac.
I got to be a soulless machine that I'm definitely not.
Yeah, not in real life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so join us next time for some Fabulo Ultima, and at least the character creation.
And world creation.
And world creation.